Words are about to be spoken on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, brought to you by the ad-free shows Wrestling According to Alba and Podcast Heat Networks. I'm John Alba. That's the broken one. That's the woken one. That's the spoken one himself. Looking awfully festive back there, Mr. Matt Hardy. What's going on, man? I'll be very transparent. I don't have much of a voice right now, thanks to our Hardy Party festivities, which we're going to talk a lot about. But we got a lot of great questions this week that I'm excited to get into. What's going on?
I barely made it in this room. This room is apparently getting redecorated to a degree, and there's a new computer system that's going to be built and put in here. So I barely made it. If this would have been this evening, I wouldn't have been able to do it from this room. I was going to do it from the kids' room, apparently, where they stream occasionally, time to time. Yeah, just hanging out here at home and had a great weekend. Had an amazing Hardy Party in Watertown, New York, and then we made the long ass drive into Times Square and had an absolutely wonderful Hardy Party at Conley's, which you were there and present for. A lot of great times, a lot of great memories, a lot of great moments made that day. And then Jeff and I, we jumped in the car and drove about 3.5 hours down to Baltimore, and then we had a hell of a signing at Dave & Buster's and signed overtime again. Had a capacity crowd, and then got on a plane and flew home and had a hell of a weekend, man.
Hardy Boys still making the towns in 2025, just like it was 1999 all over again. We got lots of Thanksgiving wishes here in the chat. Rajiv watching, Jen watching, Coach Hardy here, Coach
All
Rosie
right.
checking things out. It's a good time here, WrestlingAccordingToAlba.com. Yeah, dude. You guys, I mean, you were exhausted. I could see at the Hardy Party in New York City, but you guys plowed through, and it was an amazing afternoon. You packed out Watertown the night before. Like, literally the whole town was there for you guys. It was crazy. I got so many messages about it. And then the next day, man, I mean, I've been pushing these premium Hardy Parties that we do a few times a year because I really do believe they are some of the most intimate experiences you're going to get in all of pro wrestling, not just with the Hardy Boys, but in all of pro wrestling. And I thought the Hardy Party in New York City was freaking incredible. We had a juke off where people won some free merchandise. You told some great stories. Brother Nero sounded top form. Food was great. Drinks were great. Great meet and greet. It was everything that we talked about and more. You guys rocked it. And we had so many people, Matt, that I specifically had a lot of people who came up to me and they were like, I could pay $400 to sit in the last row of the arena for Raw, or I could come meet my heroes and get this experience. And I think it's just so worth it. It was an amazing time.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. It was a great time. And then those times, I mean, Jeff and I value those so much. I mean, we are very appreciative. We're very humbled. We're grateful that we have had people that have supported us literally for decades, multiple decades. And we are both very self-aware. We know without those people supporting us, without those diehardies, there would be no us. And they allow us to have this longevity that we've had. And we've had just the most incredible longevity. I feel like we have one of the highest equities with any fan base in pro wrestling. Our people are super loyal. And I love coming out. I love, and it's on a weekly basis now that people share memories with me about as a child, how they watched us and how we inspired them and we made them feel free to be fearless for a change, be free to be themselves and express themselves as they felt organically, and just be them. And that's important to us, and that means a lot to us. And we love when people share those stories with us. And there's no better time than at these Hardy Parties, whenever you come up and meet us, and we have this meet and greet, and we have a chance to chat and kind of talk shop. It's great, man, and I love to hear it. I get as much from it, hearing it, I think, as they get from sharing it.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. You signed some very cool items too. That old Attitude Era guitar that you signed was awesome, and man, these diehardies, they come out in droves, so it was really, really great to see.
We did, John. You were talking about signing stuff. It was wild. In Maryland at that Dave & Buster's, both Jeff and I signed 4 Hardy Boys tattoos that people were going to go get tatted or autographs with. There were 3 of them were the symbols. 2 of them were brothers. And then there was another symbol that we signed. And then there was one 3X sign, which was kind of the Team Extreme thing for a while. And we put, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy on it. They were going to get it tatted right after they left there. It's wild, man. I mean, but that is, I can't think of a more flattering compliment than to have somebody get something tattooed on their body, as a representation of something they liked, or kind of like a portion of their life that was very important to them, very meaningful to them. Like that's heavy, man. And that means a lot to Jeff and I.
I love that. People are enamored with the culture that you guys have created, and it's still very relevant. I was thinking about it this weekend. We had Full Gear. It was right after the Hardy Party. I did not have enough juice in me to get over to Full Gear. I would have liked to have, but I just could not.
John, I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm driving. I'm in the car with Jeff, and for the time being, I am the only one that can drive, and it is what it is. But we were driving, and we were headed to Baltimore, and we were there, and there was a point where I said, dude, I'm getting tired, and we had a rest stop coming up, and we stopped and I took a power nap. 20 minutes.
You took a power nap. Yeah.
And I took a little power nap just to catch up, because I was like, man, I'm getting drowsy. I was like, because I'd slept 4 hours the night before. Then we were going all day long between driving and traveling and performing and entertaining and signing on our feet for 3.5 hours, and then that night we drove, and then we slept for about 3 hours, and we got into New York, and then we did the same thing all over again, rinse and repeat. And I had to stop and take a little power nap, man. So I was wiped too. I totally understand you. And if I was in your boat, I'd done the same thing.
I just couldn't be in a 3 a.m. Tony Khan press conference. I just couldn't do it. It was no disrespect to anyone. I just did not have it in me. The funny thing is, I didn't even fall asleep till 5 a.m. anyway. But I was in the comfort of my own room. I that helped. But
sure.
Speaking of Full Gear, what I was going to say, we're doing our Sports Illustrated year-end awards balloting and voting that we're going to release in a few weeks. And Tag Team of the Year came up, and FTR won the tag belts at Full Gear. They had an awesome match with Brodito. And I'm just saying to myself, man, it really is like a 2-horse race between the Hardys and FTR this year for me for Tag Team of the Year, because obviously biasly what you guys have done and seeing firsthand, you've really been a huge shot in the arm for TNA, and you've done a lot for a lot of indies, and you had a few WWE shows which were huge for you, winning the NXT titles. Right. And FTR, I mean, we're at the point where there really is like a firm argument to be made that FTR may be the greatest in-ring tag team of all time. And the work that they've done this year and elevating a lot of the tag teams they've worked with and becoming champions again, that's a tough 1-2 punch either way you stack it, the Hardys and FTR in 2025. How you feel about that?
33, 34 years into our journey, to be in the running for Tag Team of the Year is a great compliment in itself. Considering we've been on TV for 27 years, pretty straight. I hadn't been off for a very long time, but we've been on TV consistently for 27 years, both Jeff and I. To be in the Tag Team of the Year is a great honor. So I'm very proud. And I'll be honest with you, I saw about the last half of that match, John, with FTR and Brodito, and they did have a hell of a match. I thought it was a really, really solid match. And I mean, FTR is great, dude. There's no disputing that. They are very, very solid, especially when it comes down to back to basics and your basic wrestling, which I love and I appreciate. And I think if done on the right platform, still in this day, I think in 2025, I think the Hardy Boyz versus FTR would be a big money feud.
It would be, especially with everything they got going on with Copeland and Christian too. I just really admire about them that they have a similar structure match that they go out and work every time, but they change it just enough per the opponent they're facing. And they work to the strengths of the opponent and what their physical size is or how they work, what their style is. And they're so damn consistent and good. And you guys, them, Brodito, and the Young Bucks are probably the top 4 this year in some order. So and that's, again, not biased. You guys had a hell of a year. You're all special for very different reasons, which right. is really cool. Especially when last year, right? You and I talked about it because we'll do our year-end awards here. You and I talked about last year, tag team wrestling did not have a great year in 2024. And I think it was a lot better in 2025. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do think so. I do think so. It's nice to see tag team wrestling kind of return to the top of the conversation. It really was what was a secondary thought in many ways in 2024 in the majority of promotions. So it's very nice to see tag team wrestling thriving. I think when tag team wrestling is doing well, when the division is strong, and it's a moneymaker. I think it's something that people want to pay to see. Tag team wrestling is very interesting because you can tell a different story than you can in a singles match. And I think it's something that is very underrated as something that can be a main event or something that can carry a show or a pay-per-view.
I think if I was booking a promotion, 7 times out of 10, a tag team match would open my show. I just think they're the perfect way to get a crowd invested, to get a crowd hot. You give them a really good tag team match, they're going to be all in on it. So, yeah, shout out to them. I thought they were great. And yeah, there's a new AEW World Champion, by the way, Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. What about that? Samoa Joe's the world champion. Frankie Kazarian's the world champion. AJ Styles been killing it in WWE. It's good to see
tag
those
team
guys.
champion.
Yeah,
tag team champion.
Good to see those guys from TNA thriving in 2025.
But Joe's a 2-time AEW champion now, and I think there's something to be said about the run he's had in AEW. Where, keep in mind, he was kind of in that Copeland Christian camp where it was like, all right, he's done. He's not going to wrestle again. And here he comes. He has this other run in AEW where 2-time world champ. He's put on great matches with people. He's gotten other people over. He's doing some acting. This is still Samoa Joe's world, and we're living in it, man.
No, dude, I have loved Samoa Joe since the very first time I met him. Since the very first time I hung out with him when I did Ring of Honor back in 2004, 2005. I have always been a big advocate of Samoa Joe. I think he's a great person. We get along great. He's a funny dude. He is so entertaining to be around or to listen to. And on top of that, he's just such a legitimate, badass, ass-kicking character. You know what I mean? And he knows what to do when he goes out there. And he's just such a performer, man. He's so good, so talented. And he was one of those guys that kind of fell into that category of like, oh, well, this sucks. It looks like Samoa Joe is not going to get to go out on his own terms. And what I wish, especially for people I like, and I really care about, and I'm very invested into, and Samoa Joe would be one of those people, is that they do get to go out on their own terms. And it's so great that he's having this killer run at AEW and being able to work at this high level and being able to be the champion and being able to go out on his own terms. So good for him.
Let me ask you, knowing Tony the way that you do, I had this hypothesis on Patreon, WrestlingCoinAlba.com. I think that Tony Khan, who loves pro wrestling, right? And he has deep respect for a lot of these legends of the game, yourself included. I think he wants AEW to be a very big part of Samoa Joe's legacy. And that's a big reason why we're seeing Joe positioned in the way that he is. Not to say that he's not deserving of it. Of course he is. But I would say that that's a big reason why we see him in the main event, because we know his WWE run didn't end on the most ideal terms. His main roster run probably didn't reach the ceiling that it could have. I think Tony Khan takes a lot of pride in legacy. We saw what he did for Sting, giving Copeland and Christian a reunion here. I would suggest that he probably wants to do something similar for Joe. Do you think that's fair?
I mean, I think so. I think Joe is also one of the few people you can put into that spot that has enough experience and confidence, and he just has the character where he knows what the fuck he's doing, you know, and he gets it, and he feels confident in that role of being a leader and being a champion. So I think he's a good candidate, a good nomination to put into that role, because he can actually carry the load.
I agree, and I'm happy to see him as champion. We'll see what happens with Hangman now. Swerve's back in the equation, so we will find out.
Let me ask you this. Was there a bit of backlash because Hangman lost the title so quickly? I did see that. Was that a thing, John?
I don't think it's that quickly. He won it in July, and it's almost December. That's a 5+ month reign. I think anyone who's upset about the length of reign would be silly. We're so conditioned now in wrestling where it's like everyone's got to have a 9+ month title reign. I don't think that needs to be the case if the story services.
No, I don't need. I just thought thought if that, and once again, I am not as zoned in.
No, I get what you're saying.
That audience as much. So that's why I was just asking you. But
I think more complaining was the fact. He had an okay reign. I think one of the biggest problems with his reign this time around was that a lot of the stars were gone. You know, Osprey was gone, Swerve was gone, Kenny's working a part-time schedule, Mox is doing other things, and he just had the feud with Mox. So they had to try to fit circles into a square. And I'm not sure if they were super successful in doing so, number one. Number two, I think Hangman is kind of a better chaser than he is a champion.
Sure.
As a character. A lot of baby faces are. Austin was the same way. And also, I think what people were bent out of shape about the execution of the main event. The main event was a cage match, and yet here we go, man. Another cage match where there's just a fuck ton of interference and everyone's getting into the cage. If you have a cage, isn't the point of the cage to be to take people out of it, keep them out of it? And we constantly are breaking these rules in wrestling, and I think there's a lot of fatigue in that for people.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily breaking. So how many people got into their cage?
There were interferences in this match. Hobbs, Shibata was on the outside. Swerve would come in at the end and Hook. And Eddie Kingston, 5.
I mean, it's something you can go to every so often, but you have to be disciplined about it. You can't, like, if you put people in the cage every single match, it loses its meaning. And that's one of the issues with pro wrestling. So many things have, like, lost its meaning, what it may be. I mean, I think sometimes blood loses its meaning when it's done way too often. Yeah, I mean, I think if you really are being very adamant about advertising a cage, it's important to try and make that cage relevant and make it legitimate. Advertise a cage match and give people a cage match. You know, it's going to keep people out, whatever. And I get you're going to have to do angles every now and then because it's pro wrestling. It is what it is. But like the more you can protect that cage, it is important to have a straight up cage match every now and then because you have to give legitimacy to the cage match to continue advertising it, and making it something that is a sellable and drawable condition.
Especially with two guys who are very believable in the cage. So that was kind of annoying too. Josh Henney Robson says, Happy Thanksgiving, Jen, Coach, John, and Matt. Everyone tuning in. We appreciate you as always. We got War Games coming up this weekend as well. Anything you want to add on Survivor Series?
No, I mean, it's just, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting just to see how the feedback is to the match, how strong the quality of the match is. It has quite a bunch of stars in it, so it should be pretty exciting. I would guess they're going to really put a lot of thought into this thing, and it seems very, very full of star power.
John Cena's final pay-per-view match ever. Pretty crazy, huh?
It is crazy. Yeah, it is wild that we're almost there. We're almost at the finish line for John Cena. In a lot of ways, it doesn't seem real, but yeah, we're almost there. And he said he's sticking to it. He said he is proudly sticking to it. Once he has that last match, it's the last match. The last time is now.
Rosie asking you one more time: you sticking with your pick? Does Dom get his title back, or are you picking Cena to retain here and take it to his final match?
I don't know. I need to watch Raw from last night to actually see what happened. Let me watch Raw and then.
Did you see or hear about the segment with Dom from this past week?
What happened?
The most Vince McMahon segment ever that I would have hoped we would have gotten away from this sort of thing. But Dom had a showdown with a mini John Cena. If you're picking up what I'm putting down here.
Okay. I am.
So, you know, there's nothing funnier than that, pal. That's hilarious.
And then did the real John Cena come out?
No.
So what did Dom do with the
I'll let you see the segment. You see the segment, then let us know what you talk about. What happens here.
Did Dom whip his ass?
Asses were whooped. You can draw connections yourself. Asses were whooped. I don't know, man. We don't need that stuff in wrestling in 2025. Again, let's be more creative than that. But alas, we are getting this last match with Cena here on pay-per-view. So we'll see whether he takes the title into the match or not, into his last match. And who he'll end up facing. It sure feels like it's going to be Gunther at this point, but we will find out here. Matt Hardy. Okay, I don't want to waste any more time because we are doing Ask Matt on this Thanksgiving edition of the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. We are always thankful for all of you guys. We got plenty of questions to get into. But first, I got to ask, please hit us with that Matt fact.
Matt fact, Matt believes in getting back on the horse.
Giddy up.
Oh, like once you start something and once you do something, sometimes you have to take breaks from things, but you got to get back on the horse. I told myself that today because the day was like a day. I was like, all right, well, fuck, time to get it together, time to get back on the horse. So in full transparency, after those TNA tapings, which were pretty long, and then we did some shoots after that, which lasted a couple of days, and one it was cold as shit. I was just kind of run down, and this was the first time in 2 years I'd been sick at all. And I had a little bit of a sore throat. And then by the time I got up to Watertown, and then the next night after a little sleep, those 2 nights of not having a good night's sleep really got to me. And, you could tell I was just like exhausted. My throat was bugging me, whatever, on Saturday. But then, I've came home and I've taken care of myself. And it was like, it is everything I can do to like not go out there and want to just jump in a cold plunge and get it down. But I was like, okay, well, let me take care of this throat. So got up today, and today was the first day my throat did not hurt. And I remember I was thinking, even this morning as I got up, it was kind of chilly. I was like, all right, well, I feel pretty good. My body feels good. I'm not achy, and my sore throat's finally gone away. I'm good. I said, rest. I slept extra as much as I could the last couple of days. And I said, man, you got to just get back out there and do it, man. You got to get back on the horse again, man. I said that to myself, and I'm like, oh, you're right. So I went out there and I did that, and I jumped in, did my cold plunge. Didn't stay in as long as I typically do, but it's still good. Like, even now I felt refreshed. Afterwards, I went and I did 40 minutes of cardio. I had my first full-fledged workout today after that also. So it was good. But yeah, something I think is very important in life. There are people who like try and do something and they might fail, or they might not succeed in it, or there might be something that they did back in the day that they don't do anymore, but they still have a passion to do. And like, one thing I can say, like, man, this is life, and it's such a limited life as it is anyway. It doesn't last that long. It's short. Time is fleeting. Like, if there's something you really want to do, you need to do it, man. Get your ass back on the horse. I believe in that. If there's something that you really want to do, you feel like you should be doing, you need to get your ass back on the horse.
And now I've been dealing with whatever you had. I've got it the last 4 days or whatever. I'm like, ugh, I feel bad because I want to go into Thanksgiving feeling good, but we're going to rock and roll. I think too, man, it's just like the stress of running events, it runs you down. And you're like, eh. So I'm hopefully going to be at the finish line of that. You said, how long did it take you to not have a sore throat? It was like 4 or 5 days. That's right.
Probably 4 days.
All right.
But also too, I was sleeping like shit those days. I mean, just because it was a tough schedule, and it is what it is. You suck it up and go.
That's right. You sure do. All right, let's get into some questions here. We'll start with one just came in from Rosie. Saw an Instagram post about Queen Rebecca questioning your athletic ability. What's up with that?
Sir, she is a content creator. That is what she does. Most of her stuff is parody. Most of her stuff is nonsense. Shit. Yeah, and she's just full of shit. Period.
Professional shit stir.
Yeah,
I got you. It was funny. I actually laughed at the video. I thought it was pretty good. And she goes, "Oh, he's mansplaining his job to me now." That's pretty good. Okay. Corey asked me on Facebook, do you think you will ever win a world championship again?
That's an interesting question, Corey. A lot of that, I think a lot of that would depend on probably Jeff's status. The only thing I think would make me go in that direction at all is if Jeff was hurt or injured. Jeff had a little injury that's kind of been bugging him, but he's getting a little better now. But like, say, if something happened and Jeff was hurting on his own, like, I wouldn't be opposed, or if he had to be out for an extended amount of time, I wouldn't be opposed to having a TNA run for a world championship, and possibly trying to do what I could to pitch in and contribute and help with the company if need be. So I don't know, but once again, I would never say never.
Never say never in the extreme life of Matt Hardy. Wade, what match has been the most fun to compete in with you and Jeff?
The match that I had the most fun in executing with Jeff was by far the final deletion, because once again, it wasn't necessarily a match. It wasn't in front of a crowd. It wasn't like a one taker type deal. We really got to think out of the box. We got to do some wild, fun stuff. And there was a lot of time where we were doing the broken mat and the Jeff Hardy / Brother Nero stuff. And like when we weren't shooting, we were like dying laughing just over the ideas and the way things were coming off and whatever else. I mean, we did some crazy things. We took crazy risks. We'd go in that lake when it was freezing, you know, and that lake is nasty as shit. You know, it's so funny. People were like, oh my God, that was so cool. You guys like went into the lake of reincarnation and went under, and then you came out. We're like, yeah. And we did do that. And like, we like, you know, committed. It's just a regular lake. It's not like some sanitized lake that is clean and full of chlorine. It is not at all. It is as natural as they can get, baby. But the match we had the most fun working together would have been the final deletion, no doubt, just because we were laughing so much in between shots and changing camera locations and whatnot. I would probably say if I had to base a traditional match as an answer in this, it would probably be WrestleMania 25, just because that was one of our dreams, to be involved in a marquee match on a major pay-per-view, which was one of the, you know, advertised matches. And we got to go out there and do it. And it was very cool. And it was in our environment of Extreme Rules. So it was something we excelled in.
Who was the opponent that you think you had the most fun working with? Like pure, just, I really have a good time every time I'm wrestling that guy. Is that MVP?
Rey Mysterio.
Right.
I would say it was Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was the most enjoyable opponent, you know, to work with every single time. He was so easy. He was so good. We were so close. We were friends. We traveled together, and we were just really, really like-minded with stuff. He was an absolute blast to work with. So easy, so good, so smooth. The most talented guy ever. And then like there were a lot of times when I was doing that angle with MVP, every time we were doing that, you know, who's better than who? I'm better than you. Those things were all fun, especially even more than the wrestling matches, just the interaction we had, because that stuff was fun. It was very organic in many ways.
I think that's some of your best work for sure. It's funny you mentioned Ray. I was actually just yesterday, the WWE Vault recently posted your WrestleMania match. So I was like, let me watch it. And it is a fun match. It is a sprint, man. You guys worked so freaking fast.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like bang, 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 even towards the end. And the crispness of the finish is really impressive because you guys had to hit a time, you had to hit a spot, and you did it.
Yeah.
And you had to make sure that the camera saw just enough of you hooking the rope for the finish. And that was all really well done. And I'd imagine that was probably a lot of fun to put together too.
Well, it was, but it was also another one of those things where we're walking out and we go, oh, guys, you've lost 2.5 minutes from the match. We have to trim you, because it's like, how can we lose time? We are the first match on the show.
We got to give Limp Bizkit.
How
Limp
can we
Bizkit's got to get his entrance.
No. We didn't lose time. You changed time. You changed time. So that's why and once again, we were going through, I said, I don't know, let's just get it done. You know, we just we burned through it. We were working fast. It was a modern day, it was a 2025 AEW match.
It was fast. It was very, very fast. Ray's gear from that match is some of his most badass gear he's ever worn too.
He was so proud of that gear. I love that too.
Oh,
it was great gear.
The Daredevil gear is awesome. Let's see here. Greta, what do you think of the fans who cosplay as the two of you?
It's a huge honor. Anyone who is willing to cosplay as you shows that they are invested in you to a degree, and that's what's the most important thing is, which I stress to people over and over. The most important thing you can do is get people emotionally invested in you, and the fact that they're willing to dress up like us and they've been influenced by us, they've been inspired by us is just super humbling. And I don't know if we expected it to be that way. We wanted to go out and wrestle and try and entertain people, but you know, the way we have been so influential with telling people, like, don't be afraid to be yourself. Like, just, it is what it is. You're yourself, and don't feel bad about that. Outwardly be you, be authentic. And that's something that ties in with, the Hardy Boys in general. I mean, we started that right from the jump. When we came out with those plaid tights, that has hope and faith on it, that was very real. We were big on that. We were both big believers in faith, big believers in hope. Dare to dream, exists to inspire. That it's not just bullshit. That's stuff that Jeff and I both believe in, and that's stuff that we both aspire to do, and we kind of half-ass turn it into a reality, which is really, really cool. And there's been a lot of people that have been attached to it.
Certainly, I think it's awesome. A lot of people, especially because Jeff has more to cosplay as, I guess you could say, with how exotic he dresses and the face paint and everything.
Yeah.
Some of the Jeff cosplay is really impressive that I see
Yeah.
at some of these conventions. It is. I know you guys like to take pictures with the really impressive ones too. And
Yeah,
you share
Jeff
them and
does.
post them.
It's cool because, once again, we were talking about social media. Jeff is just so not educated, in terms of social media, so to say. But there's so much, like, he'll call me and ask, or I'll, like, yeah, say, give me your phone, and I'll show him how to do something, whatever. But he loves that now. It's a really big deal, like, especially if someone comes and they paint their face, and if they close their eyes and they have their eyelids painted, he will 100% take a picture with you every single time, because he wants to put that into a compilation video for that event, specifically when he gives, like, a thank you video for it. And I love the fact that he's doing that, and he's so into that.
There's a little tip, guys. If you want to make the Hardy Boy social media, come dressed to the nines in Hardy Boy cosplay. They'll help get you there. Let's continue here. We've got this is a fun one from Jason. You and Jeff like Indian food? Let me know. I'll bring you some next time I see you at a signing, maybe WrestleCade this weekend. You got WrestleCade this weekend. Go ahead, plug it real quick, and then answer the question about Indian food.
We do have WrestleCade this weekend on Friday night. We have Fourth Rope, where myself and Jeff, we will be teaming with Zilla Fatu, and we'll be taking on Joshua Bishop and the Good Brothers in a 6-man tag. It should be a hell of a show. I think West Side Gun's going to be there. He's going to be having all sorts of rap acts. It's very much a very heavily culture driven show, with wrestling and rap and hip hop. So they're really cool. That goes down on Friday night. Saturday morning, bright and early, 9:30, Jeff and I will be signing. We'll be doing a meet, greet, and delete till 3:00, or to be determined, however long it takes us to finish the line. And then that evening, I think at 5 or 5:30, the Super Show starts, and Jeff and I will be wrestling the Rascals. It looked like it was advertised as a regular match. I heard it was a tables match. I guess we'll see when we get there. But it will be myself and Jeff versus the Rascals in some capacity. And following that, I have just learned a few days ago that we're going to be doing a Hardy Party, and we're going to be speaking with Devon Dudley during the Hardy Party. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
So about the Indian food, you want Jason to bring you some?
And then when it comes to Indian food, I would say Indian food, man. I'm a fan of some stuff more specifically, but my typical go-to is a very typical Indian order. I am a butter chicken guy. I love butter chicken and, like, a good garlic naan. That's my jam, with rice, obviously.
Could use
So
curry.
yeah, Jason, if you want to bring some, feel free.
Could use some curry to clear up the sinuses right now. I'll tell you that. I'd be flush it out. Just, I good Indian food.
I love some good lamb too.
Indian food that is spicy but also very flavorful. It's hard to beat, man. It's really some of the best stuff out there. But sometimes some things are just spicy for the sake of being spicy, And I love spice, but I want some nice deep flavor with my spice. With anything that I have. Let's see. We've got Julio. Have you ever gone broken in public? Like, has it just happened?
I haven't gone broken in public in a long, long time. Especially, I may have gone broken in public before the broken persona was even developed. Or TV or TNA, or just in general. No, I mean, I have it together at this stage of the game. I'm 51 years old, over halfway to 100, and I know who I am, and there's a big victory in that. So I'm good. I don't go broken.
That's good. Russ, what does TNA have to do to become the undisputed number 2 promotion?
It's going to be, I mean, that's going to be a big task. TNA is almost like the Hardy Boys in many ways, starting from the bottom right now and slowly working their way up, growing slowly but surely. And I think TNA, before too long, hopefully, by the beginning of the year, this new deal will be announced and people will rejoice. And TNA is going to be accessible to many, many new viewers. And then hopefully we can continue to heat up and put on good wrestling, tell good stories, have very intriguing and characters that are compelling. That's what I'm going to shoot for, especially the more input I have. I think TNA just needs to keep doing what they're doing. They need to keep trying to make the product better and better and better, building their fan base. I think we need to be catering to a very wide audience. We need to welcome everyone into the tent. We want everyone to come watch our show, whether you're a man, a woman, a child, whatever it may be. I think that comes with some, family-based programming as well. And I would like to see TNA grow and be as big as it could possibly be. I would love to see it ultimately be bigger than it was back when it had the opportunity to be big back on Spike TV, many, many years ago. That is my goal for TNA. I don't think in my mindset, I don't think in my mindset, I don't think in most people's mindset at TNA, like we don't really think about being number 2. We just think about being as good as we can possibly be. And then like, if people perceive us as number 2, then it just is, it is what it is.
Well, I'll follow up with this with Sean at Good Old Wrestling, because I think it's relevant to that question. TNA, I just saw in the last couple weeks, did like a 6.5, 7-hour marathon on YouTube of impacts from 2005. And this morning, as we tape this, I was scrubbing through some of it and watching some of it because I remember watching them live when they were happening. I was pretty early on the TNA bandwagon back in the day. And Sean says, TNA used to be the alternative to WWE with the wrestling, X division, 6-sided ring, knockout division, tag division, etc. So what makes TNA stand out from WWE and AEW right now? Do you think TNA needs to focus and bring those things back? They had identity in 2005 as compared to 2025. What say you?
I mean, I think TNA does have to. They need to kind of carve their own niche. The 6-sided ring was very challenging for the workers. I get how they gave it its own identity, but me speaking personally, and I think the majority, I think 85% of the rest of the people would rather be in a 4-sided ring, just because it's just how wrestling works, and it's so much easier, so much less difficult. But yes, as far as becoming having their own identity, becoming their own personality. Yeah, I think that is something that is important. And I think that's something that needs to continue to be worked on. And it's one of those things too, where I'm someone who's ready to be at that position almost in my career, as well as being an active talent in the ring, as far as trying to give them new ideas about trying to make it different, establish its own identity, make it stand out, why it is different from everything else. And I think it really was great whenever that X division first came along, because it was very different than, anything else like there was at that time. And it was good at being one of the stand-up points. The 6-sided ring, not crazy about it, but it was good at kind of forging their own identity back in the day. It's very inconvenient as far as the wrestling business goes.
I did love the 6-sided ring. I thought it made TNA very unique, but I do understand. I mean, Kurt Angle, who's one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time, has even been on the record and said it was a lot harder to wrestle in a 6-sided ring. And even from like small things you might not think about, like obviously if you're trying to do a move off the top rope, the angle at which you're standing is different, but maybe you can confirm or deny this, but weight distribution too. If you take a bump like in a 4-sided ring, the energy disperses more evenly as opposed to a 6-sided ring where it might be a little stiffer as a result of that. Does that seem sensical?
I mean, yeah, probably so. If you broke it down and did the analytics, it probably would be that way. But I mean, the bumping wasn't terrible in the ring. It's just, once again, as far as your directional awareness when you're in the ring, as far as like shooting someone to the ropes or aligning a spot up, it is so much more easy and comfortable in a 4-sided ring. And
Sure.
just that 6-sided ring, it leaves the opportunity of error so open in so many ways, and it's very, very challenging.
Here's an interesting question from Lance. Did Matt or Jeff ever run into any of the new generation, Nash, Hall, Luger, Medusa, Bret Hart, etc., in airports after the Hardy Boys' first title win or the No Mercy title match, with any of them giving the Hardys their flowers, so to speak? Do you remember any of that, like tail end 99 to 2001? Did you see any of those WCW guys in airports? I know you've told the story about when you met Benoit and some of those guys, but any of the Nashes, Halls, Lugers, any of that type?
I mean, the biggest thing I can tell you is just that whenever that same time, wherever we met Chris Benoit that first time, we ran into Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, who were at that same hotel when WWE was in town, same time, or WCW was in town whenever WWE was in town. And they were just like, "Oh man, we're so proud. And we're so happy for you guys. We thought you guys were always badass." And we kept telling Chief Jay Strongbow, "You need to hire these guys. You need to hire these guys." I'm glad they finally did. So, I mean, that was probably the only main interaction I can think about where we really ran into those guys during that time, especially in our infancy, in our beginning stages.
That's pretty cool. I mean, you said those guys were always pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, they were. You know, I totally understand how there are people that they made their lives hell back in the day because they had that kind of power, you know. But man, they were always great by us. I mean, we were no threat to them, and they were young guys. We were young guys, and they thought we had talent, and they were like, "Yeah, do something with these guys. Do something with these guys." And they would always push to stick us on TV, even if it was in an enhancement match, because they knew we'd go out and try and make people look good. So it was cool. They were always very happy for us. Still have been to this day. Every time I see Kevin Nash, we'll like sit down and shoot the shit, which is wild. I ran into him in X-Pac a couple months back, and like I was just coming downstairs to like grab some food and take back up, and I ended up sitting down eating with him and like hanging out for 2 hours, you know. And it was just kind of catching up, having conversations, and it's great to see Sean Waldman. He's in such a great spot in life, and just the things he's doing right now. And yeah, it's we've always had a good relationship with the Click guys, and that's never changed.
Waldman's doing some work with the WWID program too, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah.
Josh Henney asking, if you did a farewell tour, how would you like your last match to go? Match type and opponent. Now, in the past, you've talked about how cool it would be to face Edge and Christian, Copeland and Christian, whatever you want to call them. But, you know, that was a few years ago too, when maybe that seemed a little more directly possible or whatever, maybe. And it seemed like maybe you guys were going to wrap things up a little earlier. Then I don't see an end in sight anytime soon for you right now. So has that answer changed at all? You know, have you put any thought into that? Maybe a different opponent or a different match type or anything of that nature?
I mean, you know, I think of like best case scenario. I feel like a match with Edge and Christian. That is the match that set us on the path to becoming big stars. And I feel like that'd be a great match to kind of end it all with. But, you know, at the end of the day, who knows where everybody is? A lot of it is going to depend on circumstance. And I think as time marches on, which it does, it doesn't wait on any of us. Time marches on and things continue to change. Who knows where we'll end up at? And who knows what tag team will be hot, which tag team will be good, which tag team could use something like that, having the Hardys in their last match or retiring the Hardys or whatever. And I almost think now I would just kind of wait until, you know, we are closer to that situation, we are closer to that scenario, and then make the determination then.
Would you, how should I phrase this? What would be more beneficial? You guys working with Edge and Christian, giving everyone one last nostalgia match, whatever, or working with a younger team that's still active, maybe a team you haven't faced before, maybe you have faced them before, but one that you could do the ceremonial handoff to, sort of thing? Or like, what do you think would be more beneficial?
I mean, it depends on what kind of benefits are we talking about? Monetarily, if you were going to have the Hardys versus Edge and Christian one last time, that would be the most beneficial. As far as helping another tag team, it really wouldn't do shit for Edge and Christian. It wouldn't do shit for us. One way or the other, whoever wins loses. It's going to be irrelevant. Just the fact of seeing us all together is going to be special, and it would be a big money match that people would be into, especially if it hadn't been done again since we did it 20 plus years ago or whatever. But if it was the Hardys wrestling against a younger up and coming team and let them be the team to retire us or let them have us in our last match, whatever the scenario is, yeah, it would be beneficial for them. It would help them as far as an act, but it depends on what you are looking to be beneficial in. If you are helping another team or if you're trying to maximize the money you're going to make.
If it's Edge and Christian, it's got to be a ladder match for $100,000, right?
No, not with inflation, brother. It's ladder match for probably $1 billion.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what they charge us now.
That is, you're not wrong about that. Okay, let's keep going here. We got RC. If you were not in a tag team with your brother, but with someone else, who would you feel would be your best tag team partner?
I might think about this while I'm explaining. I mean, the one person I love teaming with, who I love Broken Matt and Bray Wyatt together. We had a blast.
No,
so
but
much fun.
someone you haven't teamed with before. Someone, like.
Yeah, I mean that is the first thing that pops in my mind. If you say if I wasn't teaming with Jeff,
okay,
who wouldn't be? Let me think about this. About guys that are out there that are doing things. Is someone different?
Or did things? It could be 2001, and you're coming up, and you're in a tag team. Who's it with?
I actually would have liked to have teamed with Christian for a while. I would have liked to have seen the team of Matt Hardy and Christian have a good solid run for a bit.
Why might that have worked?
Christian always said, like, yeah, we need to break the shadows out on their ass, because he was always in that same boat as me, where Vince always. He'd already chosen Edge. He'd chosen Jeff. That was going to be his singles guys. He liked both of us too. He liked, Matt and Christian as well. But, every so often, Jay would say, yeah, with the shadows going to sneak up and get their ass, because he would see us as, the secondary guys. That would have been fun to do.
Could have been an interesting story to tell too. Two guys
could have been, yeah.
Felt like they were overlooked, trying to make their mark. What about the Hurricane?
So it's interesting. I really dig the Hurricane Helms character. It'd be interesting to see maybe an odd couple of Broken Matt and Hurricane Helms, the Broken Hurricane. I would love to do like a more traditional Hardy Boys, Matt Hardy with Shane Helms of, like Gregory Shane Helms, when he was doing that bit. I think we would be good together as a team as well.
I bring him up because Anne asked, she sent the video of Hurricane's entrance, his first entrance as the Hurricane, where you faced him on Raw.
Right.
And she said, did you get to see the Hurricane costume before your match? This was his first match as Hurricane, and you seemed very amused to see him decked out, face paint and all. Is that just you selling?
Yes, I did see his outfit beforehand. I saw the face paint. I saw everything he had. That was specifically Vince's. That's how Vince wanted me to react. He wanted me to kind of look at this guy, kind of laugh. I'm like, oh my God, look at this guy. He's like a child. He thinks he's a superhero. He comes out here dressed up like a superhero. That was kind of Vince's mindset. Almost like you don't take this guy super serious in the beginning. But he comes out and he believes he's a superhero, and he's fully engrossed in the idea.
Did you think that character had legs?
I had no idea if Vince would follow through with it, but I did realize immediately nobody is a bigger comic fan than Shane, and that's how he got kind of thrown into this in the beginning. And if anybody was going to be able to make it work, it would be him.
He made it work big. I mean, he is killer during his Hurricane run.
I mean, honestly, I think if you take any other person besides besides Gregory Shane Helms, and you put them in that role of playing Hurricane Helms, the superhero, I don't think it comes out the same. I don't think it gets over. I don't think it becomes the success that it did. He was the guy that can make that work. Nobody else.
Certainly did. Flowers for the Hurricane. Robbie, are there any wrestling industry experiences that you missed out on during your career that you wish you didn't?
I think as far as wrestling industry experiences, I've been around long enough that I've kind of been able to take them all in, which has been interesting. Some good, some bad. Some I've been indifferent about. There's nothing that I really think that I missed out on. Maybe in a match, I would have liked to have seen the Hardys or been involved in a Hell in a Cell match because I didn't get to do that. That
There you
would have
go.
been cool.
There's one. Working the original ECW, perhaps?
Maybe so. That may have been cool. That'd been cool to be able to go and do a one shot in ECW. Maybe even to get a chance to get a shot in and work at WCW would have been cool as well.
Like you weren't even at One Night Stand because you were hurt, or no, you were fired. You were fired during One Night Stand, so you weren't even able to be part of that, which kind of sucks. Because it feels like the Hardys would have been a natural inclusion for an event like that. Had Jeff been there, you've been there, would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Valerie, longtime asker, says, who are some of the best cruiserweight wrestlers you faced as Matt Hardy version 1? Who are some of your favorite? Obviously, we know Ray. Any underrated ones that you really liked mixing it up with during your cruiserweight run?
Rey Mysterio obviously goes without saying. I enjoyed working with Chavo Guerrero. Enjoyed working with Billy Kidman. I thought he was great. I got to work with Ultimo Dragon a couple times. That was nice. I got to work with the Kai-En-Tai guys back in the day. I love Funaki. Sho Funaki is one of my favorite human beings in the world. One of the sweetest human beings in the world. Tajiri was someone which I enjoyed working with. There wasn't a ton of cruiserweights there. Whenever I was doing that, I feel like I've listed most of the field that was around during that time. I would have. I don't. I'm trying to think if I have. I've been around Hoovy. I would have loved to have worked with Hoovy in a match. Enjoyed it. Hoovitude is a trip, man. He was very, very, very funny guy. I don't think I've ever worked with him in a match though.
I was curious if you ever worked with, because remember, like the cruiserweight title kind of went away, and then like 2005, Vince was like, "Let's give it another shot." 2006, let's give it another shot on SmackDown. That's when Shane was champ, and you had like Super Crazy and Hoovy, Psychosis. So I was curious.
Psychosis, Super Crazy. I got to work with those guys a couple times, because man, I'll be honest. Like Jeff and I, we were so fired up watching Rey Mysterio and Psychosis in ECW and the things that we're doing. They were heavily influential in kind of the way we started basing our style in Omega. Like we got a lot of our shit from those guys.
I was gonna say,
we're trying to do things they would do.
Hoovy seems like a Jeff Hardy, like tailor-made wrestler, if that for someone that he'd be interested in watching. That's interesting. Let's get a few more in here, Matt, before we wrap things up on the Extreme Life. Josh, hey, did you fill the gas tank?
Well, I haven't now. She's leaving again, so no, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference if I fill it or not. It's all the verdict will always be the same, Josh.
Other Josh, if all your personas had to live together in one house, which two would get into an argument first, and what would it be about?
The two that would get into an argument first would probably be Broken Matt and Big Money Matt, and they would fight over what we were going to Uber eat. Because Broken Matt would want a super elegant deal, and Big Money Matt would want a super elegant dinner, and then Big Money or Broken Matt. I'm going to start this again. Here we go. Broken Matt would want something basic. He would want like basic steak, cooked medium or rare, whatever else. Not a lot of trimmings on the side. He would just want that meat. He would be leaning into his primal instinct. Big Money Matt, on the other hand, he would be wanting some very fine, exquisite dinner with all the trimmings around it and whatnot. And they would both be arguing on what to eat for dinner, what to order.
I feel like Broken Matt would take a steak blue, wouldn't care the cut, just raw meat, bite into it, call it a day.
Most likely.
Whereas Big Money Matt would be more into that A5 Wagyu, you know, some of that Guga shit.
Exactly. Yeah, some of the Guga shit, no doubt.
Oh, that was a feast for the ages that we indulged in with our boy Guga. Shout out Guga. Right now, who he just a video that dropped this morning as we take this. He dry aged steaks in maple syrup. That was interesting.
Oh,
you have to give that a shot. Never know. Let's see here, and again, appreciate all the questions as well, because this has been so great. Always hearing from the diehardies out there,
no doubt.
Let's see, Ron. Who met you at Bound for Glory, he says, if you could change one spot in one of your favorite single or tag matches of all time, what spot in which match would you change?
If I could change one spot in one of my favorite
single or tag
or tag match, what would it be? That's a hell of a question. That's a good question. It's got me thinking here. Got me thinking deeply, no doubt. I would go back and I would change the match I had with Sammy Guevara when we were having the Broken Rules match. And I would have realized the tables weren't moved back the correct amount they were supposed to be moved back. When we talked about it earlier with some production people, and I would have not raised the lift up quite as high so that when I took that spear off, I would have went more through the tables. That's the spot I would change.
Okay. Definitive answer. I like it. Mike, what was your dad's reaction when you and Jeff were jumping off ladders and crashing through tables? Like, we know that he wasn't super sold on the wrestling thing until you started to make some money. And then at that point, he was all in. But when he started seeing you do absolutely insane bumps through 4 tables, how's he feeling about
that? He would be worried. He'd say, like, are you guys having one of them damn crazy matches tonight? He would ask us to be careful. He would always want us to call him afterwards and let him know we were okay and give him an update on what our condition was. And he thought it was pretty wild. He said, you guys are some tough son of a bitches. I can tell you that right now. You some tough son of bitches, tougher than me. And I don't know. I feel like he was proud of us because we kind of carved out our own niche and it kind of became our thing. And we were widely known all across the world for it.
Sean, if you were in a Marvel or DC movie, who would you play?
That's a hell of a question. I love that, man. I love that question. I'm trying to think about who I would be, who I'd be the best at. And there's so many great characters, and it just
Wolverine, perhaps. I can see you flash. I know your brother was Wolverine, but I can see you flashing.
Wolverine is a solid choice, especially with the adamantium. And I like Deadpool too. Maybe even I would have Jeff be Wolverine and I'd be Deadpool.
Oh, okay. I see.
Maybe that. I would like to do all the cheesy comedy.
How'd it feel to dust off High Voltage the other day?
Very out of practice. You know what I mean? I just realized that, and I should try it again here now because I haven't done it in a while, but I was thinking about that. So I had that list of adjectives and I felt like it was just kind of burned in my mind for a while. I would say it: stupid, stinking, sniveling, silly, sassy, pitiful, pathetic, low down, lousy, dirty, filthy, nasty, vile, muck, selfish, childish, paltry, punks. Look, and I get it perfect there. Because that was the High Voltage tagline. He would hit that every single time. I just kind of had that burned into my brain. It was fun. It was fun to throw back and do that. It was a good idea, solid idea.
Couple more and then we'll wrap things up here. Aiden, having watched the amazing Raven documentary on Amazon, if you could go back in time and have had the power to have booked him differently to how WCW and WWE used him, what would you have done? I think he was massively underused in both companies, and I feel a modern day Raven would have reached the heights of Bray Wyatt. Bold statement there. What do you think about that?
I mean, I remember thinking very similar to that as well. Like, especially when he went to WCW. I mean, if he could have been booked more like Paul Lee booked him, if he would have been more of the cult leader and a little stronger, a little more protected, and had some flunkies or minions beneath him that, they kind of got fed to whoever else, and he got to come in and be the final boss in many ways. I feel like he was just booked so perfectly in ECW. It'd been nice if you could have had Paul Heyman book him in WCW and see how big you could have made him.
Katie, who made the trip from Chicago to our Hardy party, and we appreciate her making the trip there. You're stuck on a deserted island. Which 3 people are you bringing with you?
I'm stuck on a deserted island. And I'm bringing 3 people with me.
You're stuck with 3 people. Who would you hope they'd be?
Gotcha. Okay. So it's not my choice. You're just saying who would I hope they would be?
I mean, she said, which would you bring? But I don't think you'd bring anyone to a deserted island. Like, I don't think you'd have the choice of bringing someone. So I guess if you were to be stuck on a desert island, like, fingers crossed, who's there with you?
Gotcha. All right. Well, to begin with, there's one answer that is immediate, because if not, then it's big heat. My wife, Queen Rebecca. I'd like to have the Enigma with me. I'd like to have Jeff with me.
Okay.
And then I'd have
Benny's watching the kids at home, so Benny's not there.
And then I'd have to sneak Gothic Baby in there, maybe.
Oh wow! Oh, wow. Okay. Is that because she's a big daddy's girl right now?
Oh yeah.
She got your heart.
She's got it all, man. She's got everything.
Oh man, you're gonna have heat with the kids now. That would not want to see what Barty does to you tonight after that one. All right, last one from Jamie. What do the Hardys want to add to their already impressive list of accomplishments for 2026?
I just think we want to. I think we want to add equity to the brand of Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardys, the Hardy Boys TM. I think we want to build that brand into something bigger and better, where it's almost like an entity into itself, even outside of wrestling. I would love to add some more World Tag Team titles to our growing list of 16. To continue to be more decorated as the tag team goats, and I think also too I want to be involved in compelling stories and rivalries that can help out people on both sides of the rivalry. That's important to me, and once again, my biggest goal for this past year has been to really help TNA move to a to a bigger media partner and get more eyeballs on the product, and I think even going forward, I would like to have more input on what they do, even from behind the scenes, perspective. So we'll see. I want the Hardy Boys to be looked upon as people that added to the betterment of pro wrestling and the pro wrestling brand when it was all said and done.
Any specific tag titles in 2026?
Any ones that are important, any ones that have great status. We're coming for them.
Okay. I think Booker T said something one time about we coming for you, but I don't think we can say that on this show. So that's let's keep it on the narrow. Let's see what the Hardys have in their future in 2026. Whatever company is fortunate enough to have the Hardys, whether they are broken, woken, or spoken, They are crushing it right now. We had such a great time at our Hardy Party in New York City, Watertown, Baltimore. The Hardys are on tour, and it ain't slowing down in 2026, and we want you to be a part of it. AdvertiseWithHardy.com is how you get your business out there, your product out there, in front of thousands of listeners and viewers every single week on The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Right now, as we tape this, I'm rocking our Raycon earbuds that we picked up courtesy of Raycon, who've been sponsoring the podcast the past few weeks. So excited to see who jumps on board the Hardy train in 2026. We hope to have you there. Anything else you want to add, my friend, ahead of Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I just wanted to say to everyone who, all the loyal diehardies who tune in each and every Friday morning or jumping on this podcast Friday or Saturday, hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. If you happen to be listening to this at ad-free shows earlier, hope you have a great Thanksgiving if this is on Thursday. But with all that being said, I am very thankful to have so many people that still give a shit about us and tune in to listen to this and listen to our insight, and also people that are willing to come out and see myself and Jeff wrestle, do our thing, or have a Hardy Party, do a live stage show of the podcast, do an acoustic concert with Jeff. Thank you guys for still being invested. And we want to continue to entertain you. We want to continue to inspire you. We want to continue to motivate you and influence you to try and be better, try and be the best version of yourself you can possibly be, because that is what we're trying to do each and every single day. And with that being said, we're closing in on the end of 2025, and I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone has a good holiday season. And if there's anybody out there that's struggling and they're down, whatever, man, just keep your head up, keep your chin up, and just keep moving forward. And just remember that stick in there, do your stuff, and it always gets better. It always gets better.
The words have been spoken. We'll see you next time right here on The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy.
Delete!
Hey everybody, so by now you've heard me bragging about saving people money at savewithconrad.com for years, but I thought, you know what, don't take my word for it. Let's ask someone who really did save with Conrad. Let's welcome in Tyrus. Tyrus, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, Conrad. How about yourself?
Man, I'm delighted to talk to you. I got to ask, what made you come to Save with Conrad originally?
Well, first, I'm a return shopper, if you will. I was listening to the podcast years ago now with you and Bruce, and I just figured we were in the mode for a refinance, and I heard you guys save money, so I called you guys, got hooked up with Jimmy way back then, and that's really how the ball started to roll.
So initially you were interested in lowering your monthly payments, or did you want to knock out some credit card debt, or what was your goal the first time you went to savewithconrad.com?
It was mostly just to get the lower rate, but there's a little bit of credit card debt in there too, so we rolled that all up.
And you got a cheaper monthly payment on the other side of that?
Yeah, yep. And with this time that I used, it saved me quite a bit a month. Yeah.
So let's talk about what brought you back to Save with Conrad. First of all, thank you for using us not once but twice. I appreciate that. But that was your needs back then. When was that? Was that 2020 that you did that before?
Yeah, it was around that, maybe 2019, somewhere around that.
Okay. So now a few years later, your needs have changed. What prompted you to go to savewithconrad.com this time?
Well, we were looking to refinance once again because we bought during the high rate time, and we had, a little bit of credit card debt, and we thought, why not hit that refinance button? And originally we were thinking, why not just go through the national brand that was servicing our loan? I called one of them over there, and he crunched the numbers, and he said, no can do. Sorry. And then I thought, I'll just stay with Conrad again. And I called, and the delightful Frances answered, and you know her.
Oh, yeah.
And the first thing after I told her what the national brand said, she just said, are they stupid? We can save you money. And she got the ball rolling. I worked with OG Larry, and saving $425 a month.
All right. I love to hear that, man. $425 a month. I love that, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
If you had someone who was on the fence, because I know that there's a lot of people who just know me as the wrestling podcaster, but if you had someone who listens to my pods and they're on the fence about whether or not this is a real service and can he really do this? I mean, what would you say to that?
Absolutely do it. It worked for me multiple times, from Jimmy way back when to Francis and Larry. It just, the whole team, they just had nothing but great things to say. They're easy to work with. They worked well with the inspectors and everything like that. It's just a great experience, and I would recommend it to anybody.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to help save you some money, and I would be delighted if we could help save you and your family some money. Do what Tyrus did. Go right now to savewithconrad.com. You can talk to a live person, get a quick quote, or just drop us an email directly at conrad@savewithconrad.com. And of course, we can still do it the old school way. Give us a call toll free at 888-425-0105. Thanks for all the time today, Tyrus. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Conrad.
NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender. SaveWithConrad.com.